So this video is on how to use a special structure in Python, which is called match case, why it is used, and how to use it. So for that, see this case where we have a function y, which is a function of x. X is input and y is output. Now, say here in our case, x can be anything. So there are values x1 to xn, and x can take just one of them. So x can take either x1 or x2, x3, any one of those. So it's highly uncertain what value x can take. But whenever it takes a value, then we put this value inside this function, and then we calculate y. So this is so whatever I have explained, this is the ideal case where we should be using match case, because when there is an input and that has like variability or multiple options from which it can only choose one option, and then based on that one option, the format of y will change, right? So this is how these things can easily be done in Python using match case. A very good example of this is very simple, I would say, is solving this problem where we get some user input. It can be anything. That's why it's uncertain. And then perform operation, the corresponding operation. Perform gets let's rewrite this in this way. Let's get some user input to perform the corresponding operation, I would say, right? And then let's start with a is equal to 7, b is equal to 2, right? So these are two numbers we have defined, and let's start with this match operation case. So this one I define as addition. Print and numbers express y. So what I'm doing, I'm just writing down the structure. I will explain later how this works. So this is a multiplication. Multiply the numbers x multiplied by y, and then we have this. So this one is division, and then we write divide the numbers. Okay, so this is where we have written down the whole structure. So again, going back to what we're trying to do here is we are trying to define this thing. So from x1 to xn, there can be different options. First, we need to think, like in the very starting of the process, we need to think of the multiple options. This is gonna be our step 1, right? So when we are talking about multiple user input, say we are defining what would be those operations, or what would be the operations they would want to carry out. So those are going to be x1 to xn that we need to define. So all those options can be, say, addition is, say, one option, multiplication another one, division is another one. And then step 2 would be write each of those options as cases under match case structure, right? And what would be step 3? Step 3 would be define the corresponding function. So it's really important to understand that. So for x1, x2, x3, it's not defining y the same way. So the if the function is not defined the same way. Why? So when we are talking about addition, say this is x1, when we're choosing it, we're basically summing up the two number. So the function f is basically summing up the two number, and this is how it's defining y. But when again we're choosing multiplication, it's multiplying the two number x times y, which is a different function f, but ultimately the output is a single output y, right? So every time we are doing it, we have to define what is the function, or how the function looks like, or what is actually its how it's getting mapped to the output level. So that is the purpose. So define the corresponding function, and also define step 4. This can be not so this step 4, this can be in the beginning as well. Define the output level. So here our output level is y, which is nothing but this operation. So this is gonna be y, this is x1, this is x2, this is x3. It's like that. And when one of these two option is chosen, this one operation is defined in terms of that one. Say we write operation equal to let's write it in the bottom. Operation equal to addition, right? So when we are doing that, we're defining that x, the input, is operation is addition, and the output is defined accordingly. So when we're writing this, what happens? Let's run it. Oh, sorry. So this should be a plus b, a plus b, a plus b, a plus b. Yeah, let's clean it up. Let's clean it up and like restart. So when we're executing this this statement, it's showing us that this is basically adding the two numbers a and b. Now this is not where we are using the match case thing. For match case, it's really important to know that the input must have multiple option, and from that multiple option we choose just one. Here, when we're defining operation is definitely addition, there is no point of writing the whole number of cases. Then all the number of cases are written just to capture the uncertainty of choosing one option from all those different options, right? So how can we do that? We can probably write down this one. We need to think of different option, and then sources of uncertainties basically. So we can write it like on the bottom like this. Sources input should be uncertain, should have uncertain sources. Like for example, one can be user input, and then another can be uncertainty coming from computation in a bigger program or bigger code. So let's explain what does it mean. As I said, like it's less meaningful when we are defining what would be the input. It should be more something that is totally uncertain. We really don't know as like the programmer. So it should have some uncertainty sources. It can be user input. Let's first do this user input thing first. So we define it as input. So when we are defining it as input, we run it, and then it's asking basically what would be the input to the user. The user who is using this code will write, say, that person might write division. This is not division. Let's write it again. Yeah, and then what happens? It's executing this particular block. So step by step, what happens when this code is run? Then it's asking for an input. This input can be infinite. It depends all on the user, so he can think anything. And then say suddenly he thinks that I will want to write division. Then he puts division. So out of this n number of options, he chose just one option that goes as x into the function fx, which is basically here a by b is our like form of the function f, and then it calculates y, which is our operation, the variable operation. So that's how it works. So this is the basic thing, and then like we can this is the user input where we have captured the uncertainty based on the user who can think really randomly, and we can also input as a random number, right? So we can define a random number, and then that random thing can be provided as an input, and that also works. Or another thing like that is more common in like bigger programs. So if we have a bigger code, then there is some multiple calculations or computations going on, and finally those comes up in the input, and that carries the uncertainty from like previously considered in the program, and that finally brings in the uncertainty here, and we really need this match case thing really becomes useful to understand which category it should be taken care of by. Well, so that said, we're done here, but let's polish it a little bit more. Select, please enter the operation. It could be addition, division, or multiplication. Now it's more polished. So when we run it, it's asking us, please enter the operation, and then we can enter whatever operation we want. So we want division, and if we write division, I did it wrong again. It should be actually division. All right, let's do it again. If I write it division, then it's dividing this 2.7 by 2.2. And then if we run it again and say if we write addition, then it's executing this 3 adding. If we again enter this addition thing, all right, I think this time I'm good. Yeah, this is calculating 9. So okay, so that's it. This is kind of done, but just think, this is kind of guiding the user what things they can write or what operations they can choose. So this is really important to to know that, they can think of anything else. They can think of, say, as I was writing, say, when it's entered, I was writing something like ADDITIO and something like that, and it was like this, nothing was coming up. So say if they write something wrong, or have some spelling mistake, this is not going to execute this code properly. In that case, we want to provide a special message. So when this is run, so we have, say, when the case has this value, this is executing this block, and when this has this value, this is executing the second block. But we want another case which will consider all other cases in the world other than these three, where we will provide a message like, okay, you are wrong, you only can input the three operations: addition, division, and multiplication. So how to do that? So for that, we write case and then print. So we write invalid operation. Please choose from the options: addition, multiplication, or division, right? So now, what's the convention? So if we consider all other cases, we basically write this underscore thing. So when we write the underscore thing, it's taking care of everything else other than this, like whatever we have written here. So as we print it, as we run it again, then say we are writing some random thing, and we press it, and it's saying this error message that invalid operation, please choose from the options addition, multiplication, and division. So this is making our case like more our code more comprehensive and more polished, and this is how we can consider cases where there is uncertainty in the input, and then we can calculate, or we can compute the output level accordingly.